Good morning, everyone. I'm Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are here for another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So, I like to dive right in. First thing, as you already know, we're going to talk about is H-1B cap season. So, the lottery officially opened last week on March 6th and it closes March 22nd at noon. So we did see, as we knew we would, a couple of glitches. I was chatting with some colleagues. We saw a few glitches, nothing super, super major, but we knew that we were going to see some glitches. As I said last week, we're just going to roll with the punches. Everything seems to have kind of sorted itself out, but I will say this to you. The registration period is open. It closes noon Eastern Standard Time on March 22nd. Do not wait until the last minute to get yourself registered. It's software, y'all. So if something goes wrong, you don't want to try to fix it at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 22nd. So now is the time to submit your registrations. Do not wait until the last minute. USCIS does have an email address. If we are having problems with the registration, they are manning that email address. They are responding through that email address. So keep that in mind. We have until March 22nd, noon Eastern Standard Time, to get in all of your H-1B registrations. Something else that we want to remember about the H-1B registrations, they have new, updated, more souped up My USCIS accounts for this H-1B registration period. Remember, whether only one party can start the H-1B registration. The party that starts the H-1B registration must actually submit the H-1B registration. So if your outside counsel if your outside counsel is going to submit it, then they need to be the ones to initiate and start that registration. If you as a company are going to, if you want to submit it as a company, that's great too, but that means you have to initiate it and finish it and actually be the one to submit it. So I do not want to hear people that have gotten confused about that, after March 22nd. So that is super, super, super important to know, because I foresee that may happen with some folks. So just remember, if you initiate the registration, then you have to be the one to press submit on the back end to make sure that it actually gets submitted. So just please, please, please be aware of that. I am saying this to everyone that I know because I don't want people to miss their shot at the H-1B lottery this year. So again, H-1B lottery, it's open. It is accepting registrations for the lottery. It will close at noon on March 22nd. So we've got about 2 weeks, but please, 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 please do it now. Please don't wait until the last minute. We want to make sure that if you have someone that you want registered into the lottery, that you get it done. If you are not quite sure how to get that done and you want to hire someone this upcoming year, you think they may qualify for an H-1B, it is not too late. You are welcome to reach out to the firm. We're happy to see if the individual that you want to hire qualifies for an H-1B, and if so, get y'all registered into the lottery. Feel free to reach out to my office. Next thing I want to talk about is, you guessed it, fee increase, April 1. Immigration just packed all this stuff on us at one time. So April 1 will be the start of new fees. Again, you guys have heard me talk about this. I'm going to continue to talk about this. USCIS is a fee-based agency. So they run based upon the filing fees that they intake from the applications. So the fees haven't been raised for quite some time. So they had a rule out at the beginning of last year. It has taken them until this year to say that they are, actually going to implement that rule. They went back, they changed some of the numbers around for the fees, but the new fees are coming, and they are coming April 1. So anything postmarked on or after April 1 of this year must be accompanied by the new fee. For many of those applications, not only will it be a new fee, it will also be a new form. So you want to make sure that you are filing the correct form along with the correct fee. If it is not the correct fee and not the correct form, the Immigration Service will reject it and they will send everything back to you. And frankly, they're not shy about doing that. So make sure that we have the correct fee and the correct form for anything postmarked on or after April 1 of this year. Premium processing timeline also changes based upon this fee rule. So they will now be, or as of April 1, they will process based on business days and not calendar days. So that actually gives them a couple of more days because they're not counting the weekends. They're not counting Saturdays and Sundays any longer. There will be what they are calling a 50% discount if you file certain applications using their online system. That is completely up to you whether or not you want to use the online system. But if you do, there is a not a 50%, a $50 discount, not 50% discount. It's a $50 discount for some applications that will be filed online. So let me say that again. There is a $50 discount for some employment-based applications if they are filed online. Okay. So I don't want y'all screaming at me because I got it. I misspoke. It's $50. A huge change in the new fee rule is when you are filing an adjustment of status for your green card application. Currently, the advance parole and the employment authorization document do not have their own separate fee. They are included in that adjustment of status fee. Anything postmarked on or after April 1, the adjustment of status, the advance parole, and the employment authorization document all have a separate fee associated with it. So keep that in mind as well. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about kind of goes back to the H-1B lottery. I was chatting with someone last week, and they are in J-1 status. They are subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement. They are planning ahead, which is great. And they wanted to know if they could file their H-1B before they received their waiver, before their 2-year foreign residency requirement waiver was approved. And the answer is no. The Immigration Service will not approve that application if the waiver is not complete before filing. So if you are in J-1 status and you are subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement, you want to make sure that that waiver application, that you're starting that as soon as possible, and that if you foresee an H-1B in your future, that you are starting that application, you're starting your waiver as soon as possible, so that you have it if you need to enter into the H-1B lottery. Okay, so that was a really good conversation that I had. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. So if you're in J-1 status and you're subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement, you want to really think ahead and start working on that waiver as soon as you can. If that is indeed the route you want to go, as opposed to returning home for 2 years, and just make sure that you start that waiver application as soon as possible. And the last thing I wanted to talk about this Monday morning is another national interest waiver tip. So national interest waiver is a second preference green card application. You must show that you have a master's degree or higher, or show that you have exceptional ability. You need to show that your proposed endeavor has both substantial merit and national importance to the United States, and that you are well positioned to advance that proposed endeavor. The third thing that we need to show is that on balance, it would be beneficial to the United States to waive the normal EB-2 requirements, those being a labor certification application, which is where you advertise for individuals that are capable of doing the job as well, that are eligible and available to do the job as well. So the question I get a lot of times is how many publications do I need? How many publications do I need to qualify? What's the magical number of publications that are needed to qualify? Um, and the answer is it depends. It completely depends. If your profession is one where publications aren't really a thing and aren't really the norm, then you don't really need publications, right? I mean, if your industry doesn't have publications or that's not a big thing, then no publications are needed. And if you have some, great, but they're, no one's really expecting you to have publications, then that would be fine. If your profession is one where publications are absolutely available and they're the standard, then sure, publications are great. I always tell people the more publications you have, the merrier, right? The more the merrier. However, that doesn't mean that publications are required. USCIS doesn't have a magical number of publications that they would like to see in an application. USCIS's job is to look at the entire application as one big package, one big story. So what I tell people is this: the more publications you have, the merrier. That's wonderful. If you don't have any publications, that's fine too. We will look at all the documentation and all the evidence that you can provide to us and tell your best story. And sometimes your best story has 15 publications, sometimes it has one publication, and sometimes it has no publications. National interest waiver applications do get approved without publication. So I know that a lot of people are really hung up on the right number of publications to have. There is no right number of publications when you are applying for a national interest waiver. The Immigration Service looks at the entire application, the entire package, all the documents, all the support letters, everything. So don't stress out about that. If you don't have publications, you can still qualify for a national interest waiver green card. So that is all I have for you this glorious Monday morning. Happy CAP season to all of my colleagues out there who are in the H-1B CAP season trenches. It's a lovely band of colleagues I have. We're all just working through our H-1B CAP season cases. If you have any questions about CAP season, and or you have not started the registration process, you don't have your My USCIS account, and you need some help with all of that, feel free to reach out to the firm. We're more than happy to help kind of guide you through H-1B CAP season and getting you registered. And remember, H-1B CAP season registration ends noon Eastern Standard Time on March 22nd. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Monday and a great rest of your week. And I will see you all next Monday.